I'm Harrison Graham. It's time for a Chicago Bears Now mailbag from For the Bear. How long are we stuck with Dayo Odeyingbo? He's been terrible. He's been bad. I mean, Dayo Odeyingbo is not only has he not lived up to the contract, I mean, you could argue, like, is he even playing at a solid rotation role? I would say that's dicey at best. You're kind of stuck with him, man. So his cap hit next year, because remember, this year it's only $8 million. Next year it jumps up, and then in year 3 you can cut him with limited dead cap penalty. But $20.5 million if you don't do anything with his contract next year. That's a big chunk of change. If you cut him before June 1st, it actually jumps to $22 million. You lose $1.5 million in savings. And then if you post June 1 cut him, you only save $3 million. So really, there's no advantage to cutting him. Now, if you can get a team to trade for him, that changes a little bit. Who the hell is trading for Dayo Odyingbo with his current contract? I would say absolutely nobody. You're stuck with him through next year. So you just got to hope and pray and cross your fingers and whatever rituals you do that he plays better than he has. Because up to this point, he's been a disaster. I mean, look at these numbers. He's just not a factor as a pass rusher. He's just not a factor as a pass rusher whatsoever. He had that sack in week 1, flashed a couple times like, oh, Dayo Odyingbo. Yeah, he's going up against a backup tackle. Since then, he's done nothing on the pass rush front. At times, he sets the edge, and I would say he is a decent to solid-ish run stopper most games. I did not think he was good against Baltimore in that regard. He's just not a very good player. And, shout out Cullen for saying this multiple times. When a guy after his rookie contract hits free agency and you sign him to bet on his upside, no. You take those chances in the draft sometimes. We've seen 4 years of him. There's no reason he should have gotten 3 years and $48 million with $32 million guaranteed. You want to sign him to like a 2-year for $25 with half it guaranteed, a 1+1. If it doesn't work, you cut him before year 2. That's one thing. And if you're saying, well, you probably wouldn't have gotten him then, okay, let someone else sign him to that contract. I mean, Dayo Odyingbo, for what he's making, is a bad football player. If he was making $6 million, okay, backup rotation edge, he's physical, can help in the run game, fine. But for what he's making, he's been a complete detriment to this defensive line. What has been, and I'm curious, Ryan Poles' worst signing? I still think the Claypool move has probably been the worst one, but what has been the worst signing up to this point? I think there's only one signing that's been worse than Dayo Odyingbo, and Odeyingbo's only played 7 games. I would say that's Nate Davis. At least Odeyingbo suits up every week, but beyond that, it's about as bad as it gets. Small sample size, maybe he turns a corner, but it has not been pretty so far. All right, we got a super chat from Z-Berry Productions as we continue with your mailbag questions. The Bears are arguably one of the least effective short yardage teams in the league. Why not elevate Brittain Brown for RB3? It's a good point. We've talked about this during games, like 3rd, 4th, and 1. I don't have a ton of confidence. And look, I think some of that is your lead runner is not a physical specimen from a physicality standpoint, DeAndre Swift. I think Kyle Monangai can help in those spots, but he's not like a tank necessarily. He's got good contact balance. That should be the Roschon Johnson role, but he can't stay healthy. They don't seem to execute QB sneaks well for whatever reason. So you got that issue going on as well. Brittain Brown in the preseason, showed some ability to, drag through wimply tacklers, but I don't know, like, is Brittain Brown the difference in that area? I think they just have to execute. And a lot of the times, too, in those 3rd, 4th, and 1s, they've had penalties, too, and then they have to change their mind on what they want to do. So, in general, they've got to get better in short yardage. DC Viper, do the Bears trade DJ or Kmet at the deadline, maybe for an edge or a cornerback? I'd be surprised. With Kmet, don't know his health status, don't know his trade value. DJ, we've kind of talked about it. Big contract. I don't know what his value is right now with his production being down. That seems, really both these guys seem more of like an off-season type of maneuver that you would do. Never say never. These are 2 guys I outlined before the season as a bold prediction. I thought one of these guys would be gone after this year. Could maybe both be gone. Maybe that's not off the table. But I would bet against either of them getting moved before the deadline at this point in time. All right, more questions to answer here on this mailbag, but today's show is sponsored by Ethos. If you want fast and easy life insurance, get going with Ethos today. Life insurance is one of the most important investments you can make in your family. Now with Ethos, you can get covered and protected in minutes with rates as low as $2 per day. Billed monthly, you can also get up to $3 million in coverage. As a husband and father, having life insurance is absolutely vital, and it's something I don't take lightly. Ethos is revolutionizing the insurance industry with a 100% online process and can provide protection for you and your loved ones. With Ethos, you can get life insurance in as little as 10 minutes. Ethos has no medical exams, just a few easy health questions online. Their 100% online and hassle-free process makes it easy to apply. You'll get a quote in as little as 10 minutes. You can get same-day coverage without ever leaving your house. Oh, by the way, as of March 2025, Business Insider named Ethos the #1 no medical exam instant life insurance provider. They are reliable. Protect your family with life insurance from Ethos. Get up to $3 million in coverage in as little as 10 minutes at ethos.com/NFL daily. That's ethos.com/NFL daily. Application times may vary. Rates may vary as well. All right, hashtag Bears or Super Chat. Caleb Caldwell. Theo is a liability. It's been up and down. I mean, look, what can we really expect? He's a second-year undrafted player out of British Columbia in Canada. Like, if he's serviceable, you'll take it. Now, am I saying he should be the long-term answer? You would have to see a lot more. I think left tackle is creeping up that list this offseason of, do we need a left tackle too? Do you move Darnell over there in the offseason, play Ozzie at right? Can Ozzie, with a full offseason, learn the left side? Hopefully that's the case, but I think Theo just, right now he is what he is. He's a young, developing player that has been a pleasant surprise in terms of going from not expected to make the team to now the starting left tackle, but no one's confusing him with Trent Williams. We'll just leave it at that. Tyler Kendrick, who is your dream trade target and most realistic trade target? Dream trade target. I mean, if I'm factoring everything with money, honestly, right now, I'm not really in the mode of making a big swing. I think in general, I would look to make 1 to 2 minor moves to add a corner and maybe a pass rusher. As fun as like the Trey Hendrickson thing would be, A, he's hurt right now. B, you've invested a lot of money there. Are you a Trey Hendrickson away from being a big-time playoff team? That's probably a stretch. I would look to get help on the back end. Add a corner. If there's a cheap veteran edge rusher you can add for like a pick swap to help with this rotation, I'd be open to that as well. But I think as of this second, I'm not in the mode of making a big swing if I'm Ryan Poles. Subscribe to the channel. We do these live mailbags every Monday, Thursday, and game day. We take all your questions. We also publish daily content, videos, shorts. We go live, like I said, 3 days a week as well. Do not miss out. Subscribe, turn on those notifications. All right, Jared Myers. Would you rather trade for Chase Young or Taylor the corner? I think Alontae Taylor. Less risk. Chase Young, obviously, if he hits and is healthy, is a good player, but 3 years and $51 million for a guy who has injury history and some work ethic concerns on his resume. Alontae Taylor knows the system, shouldn't cost much. You need a corner. I think I would go with kind of the lower level play there right now. Big Dumper. Love it. Do you think Ben Johnson is going too hard at practice causing these injuries? It's hard to say. I mean, under Eberflus, they didn't practice hard at all, and they were hurt all the time too. So maybe they need a new medical staff, training staff. They carried that over from last year. That's looking like a mistake. First-year head coach, maybe he didn't feel comfortable completely overhauling that whole group. But, a lot of soft tissue injuries in recent years for the Chicago Bears. So I think you got to build calluses in practice. You don't want to – this isn't 1980. You don't want to run Oklahoma drill every day. But I'm not a person who's in favor of once the season starts, we don't really practice that much or that hard. I think you got to pick your spots on when to still do it. All right, confidence level in beating the Bengals, scale of 1 to 10, 1 being not at all, 10 being extremely. I'm mildly confident. I think this is a good spot to bounce back, but it's on the road. Your corners are decimated. They have really good receivers. So I'll say a 6.4 right now. Or no, 6.7. 6.7. That's my confidence level. Welke, Ryan Poles draft pick, still MIA, the real problem. Yeah, this year hadn't been great, man. I think Colston Loveland's a good player, but you're not getting enough out of him. Luther Burden, same thing. I'm a little more patient there because you're deep at receiver, but I want to see more, obviously. Shamar Turner's out for the year. Ozzie Trapillo's a backup, and they had like a package for him the other day where with an extra offensive lineman, fullback thing, and I think you can pick your spot in those situations, but I'm not sure any of those plays worked. So, yeah, Ruben Hippolyte's a healthy scratch. So far, not so good. I mean, you could argue, and this is crazy to say, you could argue, shout out Cullen, that Kyle Monungai has been the most productive rookie. Now, I would say you've gotten more out of Colston Loveland because he's been a big part of the blocking, but like you didn't draft Colston Loveland to be an all-pro blocker. You drafted him to be a dynamic weapon that can also block, and you haven't gotten enough out of him. So, yeah, so far this draft has been pretty underwhelming. Bear down in Louisville, over-under for the game is set at 51.5, kind of low in my opinion. That's where Vegas gets you. That's where Vegas gets you. I haven't done a preview prediction yet, but 51.5, Bears 2.5-point favorite. So, they're saying like 27-24 basically is what they're saying. I mean, that kind of sounds, that could be on the number. Vegas knows, man. They know. All right. Appreciate everybody for submitting their questions. If we didn't get to you, we apologize. But conversation never stops. Hit me up on social media at HGramNFL, Twitter, Instagram. You know where to find me. DMs are open. Hit that follow button. Slide in the DMs. We could talk some Bears football.